Right, you're back with me today. We've got a busy day's work to do. So, you want to own your own business, you want to work for yourself. It sounds like fun. It is. In brackets, sometimes, not all the time, can be awful. You'll want to do it and then you won't. But this is what I do. So, I've been running Murgs now since 2017, the start of 2017. And I've been full-time for 2.5 years. So I'm not, I'm not pretending to be no Alex Hormozy, but this is more of a real-life version. I don't tell as many lies as well. I don't tell any lies. There's no reason to lie. This is all honest. You guys know how much I make. It's fine. Anyway, so first things first. We've just restocked all the knee sleeves. We need to send out a promotional email. And I know the ones of you that have seen this in the past, oh, John, this is what you always seem to do. Yeah, because when you run your own business, you do a lot of the same things a lot of the time. It's a bit of a myth. You see founders on Instagram and YouTube, and they're going out and they're doing this and they're doing that. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you have a team of people. Yet there's nobody else here. It's just me in a spare bedroom in my house. So when it's only you, you do all the crap work. You do all the good work, you do all the crap work, and you do all the medium work until your business is successful enough to employ others to assist with those other jobs. So for now, we are doing the other jobs. This is other job number 1. So we're doing a new email. If you guys run your own business and you don't know how to use Photoshop, please put it on your list. There are so many courses, tutorials, education. This might be one of the most important pieces of software I use. I mean, for example, if we go on to murgs.co.uk real quick and just have a quick look, every single product, I took the picture. Apart from, well, I did take that picture, but we'll come back to that. I took every single photo, like that, like all of them, normally just on the floor. It's really funny as well because I often keep these photos as well. Let's just dive in, go to product images. Let's try one we did recently, the new grips that we've just launched. So we're going to grips, Panther Grips Ultimate. Didn't keep the raws, of course not. Classic. Try the belts. I know the belts, I've got all the originals for the 5-inch belt. Let's have a look. So there we go. This is literally the product photos that I take. Like that's how it's done. Normally just on my phone because, I mean, modern day smartphones they're pretty good, right? They do everything you need to. And I just take hundreds and hundreds of pictures, not hundreds and hundreds, just trying to get slightly different angles and different versions of clearly the same thing, just to make sure I've got everything. And then after that, chuck it into Photoshop, edit it up. And I say edit it up, I'm not a professional editor, but that's the end result. And you're like, wow, to say that was literally taken on my living room floor, that's worlds apart. So if you don't know how to use Photoshop, do. It's fantastic. And then, when you know how to use Photoshop, you can dive in and make things like this. I'm not suggesting this is the world's best email. But at the same time, it's only made up of a few different elements. There's just a few different backgrounds. And, we just cut her out, put her behind the logo, put a bit of a fade in the bottom, bit of text, shop here. There's not that much to it. And something else that I think people forget a lot is not everything has to be unique. I literally edited a different email that was the same style as this. Like, that was it. I just changed a different one. So you don't always have to be doing brand new things all the time. I think that's a misconception too. Business is a lot of repetition because even when it comes to advertising, you'll get to a point where you're like, wow, you might be bored of your ads. But when Facebook says it showed it to 100,000 people and a tiny percentage of them have even looked at it and a tiny percentage of them have even clicked on it, nobody even knows you exist. Don't ever feel like you're spamming people. You're not. And people are in control of their own. If somebody's on your email list, don't get me wrong, there are some brands that send an email every day. It's like, right, chill. But if you've got a customer that doesn't want 3 emails a week, they'll just unsubscribe. It's fine. Like, don't ever think you're putting too much out there because there's virtually unlimited people. Like, there's literally unlimited people. They keep getting born every minute. Never mind when you start going out of the country. Murgs only sells in the UK predominantly. We've sold to, I think it's 23 different countries, including South Korea. That one caught me off guard. I was like, wow. And there's just people, there's millions and millions of customers. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the day off by just reminding people that the knee sleeves will come back in. Bear in mind, all these graphics are done by me. They're all just blocks in Klaviyo that you can reuse. It's such good software. You come over here to this, and you literally just drag blocks in, and then you'll come on, and then you just upload images. You can use your old images. You can, I think this was the image I used last time. There you go. So that's the one that I just sent out, I think about a week ago. Turns out, this is part of the day today. We had hundreds of pairs of knee sleeves come in, and the barcodes were wrong. Yeah, all of them. So it wasn't even that the warehouse will charge me a cost to fix these barcodes. It was the time. I can't keep hold of stock long enough at the minute. I can't get it in fast enough to sell it. It's shocking. It really is. So anyways, let's get rid of that block I've just dropped in. Let's fob you off. We'll send you out instead. And then when this is gone, we need to go through and fix all the barcodes. Ugh, I really don't want to. And the worst bit is it's my own fault. So that's fun. Right, next, let's get this sent and then we'll fix up some barcodes. I'll be right back. I make these videos, right, because I love running this business, but I'm sick of it being glamorized online like it's some sort of fast track to super wealth. God, this mustache is tickler. Like it's some sort of fast track to super wealth. And in reality, it's not. It's much more of a grind. It's much more of a pain. It's like, the jobs you'll end up doing are crap. Sometimes they're properly crap. And I feel like I am incredibly pro-business. If you're even thinking about, I might start a business, I'd say do it. Please do it. Oh, do it. Not only so you can be living the life you want and doing stuff and, it's snowing. How bizarre. Not only so you've got the time, but it just evolves you as a human. It makes you think for once. You go work a normal job. I used to work in engineering. I did 13 years in engineering, manufacturing and machining things. And there are days when you walk in and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Press, go. And that's it. With this, it always stimulates the mind. There's always something going on. And you can look at it like you've got an unlimited amount of hurdles and tiny problems and fires to put out. Yes, but you've also got an unlimited amount of learning and growth and being better and more knowledgeable. How would I even write down the skills I've acquired from this business on a CV? I don't know. There's loads of stuff. And even if you just run a business for a few years, and say you've had enough, you've run it for 3 years, you're like, this is driving me insane, I don't want the stress. You can go back to the workforce with such a good CV or a resume, to my American viewers, that people would snap you up. Because this, never mind being a manager, this job is like manager of managers. It's not that you're delegating, you are doing. You've got to manage, you've got to do everything. And yes, it can be really shit. Honestly, this is somebody who runs their own business, 2.5 years. And sometimes it's really, really shit. But sometimes it's great. And sometimes you just take it at face value. And today, I'm like, right, it's 12:21. I've got to update, I don't know, I think we've got 130 SKUs. So I need to get 130 barcodes into this, in the right format, with the SKU at the bottom, edited, saved, and sent off to suppliers. Yeah, it sounds kind of lame, doesn't it? I think I would. I'd rather be doing other things. I'd rather be out and about. Some days are like this. But I mean, look at that. Like, would you rather be here or be a builder? You know, and I think that as well. I'm very fortunate to be able to be in this position. But at the same time, I did this, and I just want to help you do this. Because it can be done. I'm just a normal person. I'm just a guy. I grew up in a low-income house with one parent that worked. They were fantastic. They did great. But this doesn't come from money. This is not like my dad owned a successful business and he's passed it on, or he sold his for millions and he only gave me $500,000 to start one. No, this got started with £2,000, £2,000. And I want to show it for what it is, but then show you why it's cool. None of this, you need to make $1 million a month in take-home pay for it to be remotely interesting. No. I make £3,000 a month. After I've paid my taxes, that's like 2.5. That's a normal wage. In fact, I think the average wage in the UK might even be less than that. Average UK wage. The average UK wage in 2024 was £37,000. I make less than average. More than happy to admit that. It is what it is. It's a fact. And the amount of money you earn doesn't necessarily relate to who you are as a person. There's too many people that tie their earnings to their identity and their sense of self-worth, when in reality, it's just a number. If you can cover the bills and the expenses and the lifestyle you've got, then is that not the point? Plus, at the same time, you'll hear this from the big guys. I know Mr. Hormozy sometimes says this, but you won't make much money for a little while, but the earning potential is so much higher. If you go into a traditional job, you're a nurse, quite a good job. You get caps. It maxes out after so long and so many years. You kind of hit the ceiling and then you creep up with the ceiling. With this, the scale's unlimited, literally unlimited. So that's exciting. You never maxed out, you never capped out. You know, I mean, imagine if you could double your yearly wage every 10 years. You think, right, well, I'm still on just a normal wage, but imagine if it doubled in another 2. You'd be like, right, that's £6,000 a month. And then another 10 years and it doubled. And you'd be like, oh, wow, that was a really weird BS made up maths analogy, but forget all that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to show the reality of the kind of tedious nature of this job, but at the same time, it's fun. It is. It's really fun. It's fun because it's like a hobby and it's like a project and it's just, I don't know, man. I just love it. And I don't know what about me makes me love it, but I don't know. Before I started working for myself, my mum's partner, Andy, works for himself, has a really successful kitchen shop. And I started Murgs before meeting Andy, and then it just so happened he worked for himself too. And I was like, oh, cool. And he told me, he said, it's a job where you will be so stressed beyond belief. You'll be more stressed than you knew you could be stressed. It's harder work than you think. It's never ending. It's chaos at times, and you wouldn't change it for anything. And don't get me wrong, that only says the negatives, it doesn't include the positives. There's lots of positives. But I'm like, yeah, I won't change this for the world, it's great. So if you're on the fence and you're like 12 minutes into this video, wherever we are, just bear that in mind. You can do this, genuinely. And so I'm so enthusiastic about helping others, I've started an email list down below. Click the first link in the description, sign up. I'm just going to send you 1 email a week. Like, that's it. Just 1. With all the best tips and tricks. My goal is to help those go from either idea or small business to full-time income. That's it. We don't have to make $1 million a month to be doing well. We just need to run our own business. That's cool. So I'm going to actually go and get some lunch, mentally prepare for this barcode massacre. And yeah, go from there. Let's do it. Nah, change of plan. You're coming with me. So, like I was just saying, to all you guys, we're dropping some parcels off and I'm getting some lunch, but at the same time, I was just having a think while getting ready about to all of those out there that want to make a start and you're frozen. Not like nervous, but you're unsure if you're ready. You will never be ready. So yes, you are absolutely ready. I promise. You will never be ready. You never know enough. And like I was just saying about the barcodes and all the nonsense, you learn it as you go and you figure it out because you've got no choice. It's kind of, oh, this camera's wobbling. It's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing, right? On one hand, it doesn't bring comfort. You like to feel prepared going into things. But at the same time, life's too short, man. Dive in. Just have a go. And you know what? You probably work a job right now. You're probably doing something. And you probably consider that something to be nothing important or nothing special, or at least I never did. You can just return to it and get a new job. It's different when you've got kids and a family and you've got other things going on. But I promise you will always find a reason for this not to work. My example, I've got twin girls aged 2. I left my secure, comfortable, easy job in engineering where I literally made more money. I earned more money than I do now, and left it all when my daughters were 6 months old. we were like, there's no time like the present. The business, can we survive? I don't know. We'll find out. So I just went for it, right? I mean, I just encourage you to be brave. Bravery is a mile wide, but an inch deep. So it looks overwhelming. It looks like it's just a wall that's impenetrable. When in reality, it just takes like 15 seconds of bravery for anything, right? This is oversharing, but here we go. I had a vasectomy, right, on my daughter's first birthday, the twin girls' first birthday. It's not about that. It was scary. And I think a lot of people think it is. And you go in and you're like, oh, I know this doesn't sound fun. But you just do it, right? And only after the first 15 seconds, yeah, there's a couple of injections and then things go numb. And then what? And then I'm just present. And then I'm just there. I'm just observing, I'm looking around, and someone's doing what they need to do. That's all it takes. You don't have to do any more than that. And that's the same with business. Dive in and figure it out as you go. Just don't go wild on day one. That's the only tip I've got. Too much growth may kill your business, but please don't go into business being like, wow, what if my business gets too big? At one time, a friend of mine, I was like, oh, why don't you go to the gym? And he was like, oh, I don't want to get too big. Okay, like, if only that was an issue. So yeah, don't be afraid of things working. Things are meant to work. And something that I've dealt with, and I think a lot of people do subconsciously, is it's almost a fear of success. It's a fear of, oh my God, what if I do this and it works? I'm not good enough for this work to work. I always grew up with this strangely negative perception of myself. This is really funny. About 3 years ago when we got my house, somebody gifted us a Dyson vacuum cleaner. I never even thought I'd be a Dyson vacuum owner. It sounds ridiculous. I know, you're like, it's only a Dyson, it's a vacuum cleaner. I'd never spent £300 on a vacuum. And then I got one and I was like, wow, this is ace. And just because you can't see yourself in a place now doesn't mean you don't belong there. I know vacuums was a strange side quest, but it just highlights the point. Just because in your head you do a normal job and earn a normal wage doesn't mean you have to. That's kind of the point. Yes, you are normal now. I'm normal. I just spend my days doing weird things. You can do this. I'm so passionate that others can do this. All you have to do is a tiny bit often. That's it. Imagine if you started a new business and all you gave it was 1 hour a day. Religiously. 1 hour a day. That's 1/24th of a day. And you just think, that's 4%. 4% of your day. I don't care if you go and you start a timer and you only do 60 minutes. Putting 60 minutes into anything every day, you will be an expert in 12 months. Okay, you might not be an expert. Let's not try playing the piano and be like, right, we're going to the opera. I don't know I don't know. But you know what I mean? You can make so much progress just from chipping away at things. You don't have to spend every night doing it. You don't have to spend all your weekends doing it. If you could commit to an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. That is a full day, but it's just broken down into tiny, tiny manageable chunks. And even then, stuff like this now, I'm out dropping parcels off. That counts as work, right? It's part of what I have to do. Don't get me wrong, there's people that think that the work is only the hard bit and the crappy bit and the bit where you're struggling and you're battling. No, work encompasses all of the tasks and all of the jobs. So, yeah. Anyway, let me post these parcels. I'll be right back. But yeah, the story of Murgs is I just chipped away at it for, well, I say 5 years. I just started in my bedroom one day and people didn't take the piss, but they were inquisitive, but to where it didn't make sense to them. And you'll figure this out soon as you go. If you're watching this, you're probably on the same page. That's why you're here. You're like, I've got an interesting business and doing things, but not everybody does. Not everybody does at all. And there's quite a few people that almost look at you like, that's weird. Well, yeah, it is. Like, the same way that if somebody's new to fitness, they might feel embarrassed about working out, when in reality, those that already work out are like, go on, go for it, that's great. And those that don't work out have no valid opinion anyway. So ignore everyone else's ideas and thoughts and considerations, because it's all BS. Even now, there's people in my life that have no idea what I do. Seriously, no idea. You know, it's almost like I'm just at home and money just comes in. It's like, no, it's a strange world. But then again, you're not living anyone else's life. It's absolutely irrelevant. I mean, I'm 29 now, and only in the last few years have I really come round to not caring about other people's opinions. I mean, literally, if you've watched a video in the past, you might be like, John's got a mustache now. He used to have a bit of a short, stubbly beard. I was like, no, I want a mustache. And if you don't like my mustache, then don't grow one. And if it's offensive, look away. That's it. It just doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And it turns out there's a thing called the spotlight effect. The spotlight effect, which is where people think the world revolves around them. Not literally in some kind of crazy narcissistic way, but people that go into the gym think everybody's looking at them. But the people looking at them are thinking, I think that new person might be looking at me. Everybody's got this thought that it's like main character syndrome, which I think is a bit of a social media trend at the minute. And in reality, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you do. Nobody cares how you do it. Nobody cares what you're up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you went into some exotic business selling sex toys or something, I know people would have different opinions, of course they would, but at the same time, that's probably unlikely. But then again, somebody makes loads of money doing that, cool. And yeah, you just need to not be scared, be more confident, be more brave, and you'll just figure it out. You know, the best way to learn how to build a Shopify website is to have a Shopify website. Just build one. Like, throw one up. Your first attempt at everything will be shit in comparison to future renditions. But do not let that stop you now. Do not. I went down the route, I am not a graphic designer. Yes, I'm competent on Photoshop, but just because I know where all the buttons are in Photoshop doesn't mean I have the creative ideas. I can use the software, but I struggle tremendously looking at a screen, trying to come up with branding and logos and ideas and inspiration. My wife chose this logo. I wrote loads of fonts out saying Murgs because I wanted to be a text-based logo. I thought I just want something simple. Simplicity is my cup of tea. Like, I debadge my cars. I just like simple. And she picked that one. She was like, that one stands out and looks cool. I was like, oh, okay. Same again, I've stuck with a black and white colour theme. Why? I'm not an expert on colour science. I don't know which colours are complementary and what goes together and this and like, that's not my cup of tea. So make it suit you. And then it turns out, if you have a certain thought or opinion, I like things very simplistic, I like black and white, I like neutral and just plain, somebody else will. Somebody else absolutely will. You know, like we launched a pair of leopard print knee sleeves because we had a few people ask for them. So we did it as a limited edition product. I think they might be second or third bestseller. It's like, wow. Turns out there's loads of people that share your ideology. Just because they've never told you doesn't mean you're not on the same page. And just because you've not seen it doesn't mean it's not there. That's another angle as well. So start your business and give it a bit of your flavour. You know, add a bit of your own spice in. Make it yours. But at the same time, make sure it just solves a problem. And same again applies. If you've got a problem that you're solving with your solution, somebody else will have that problem. My problem was knee pain from squatting. The doctors suggested to not squat. I said, I don't not squat, I will be squatting, yes. And they said, oh, okay, there's not much we can do to help you then. So that was like the end of that. So I went off in my own mission and I didn't invent knee supports. I've not invented knee sleeves. I've not invented weightlifting belts. If you think about it, Murgs does nothing brand new. Don't get me wrong, we're getting to a point now where we're working on our own sort of material science and evolving, but Murgs has sold the best part of £1 million worth of stuff. And yes, things have been in my style and the size guides are suit and the products and, you know what I mean? Like, we started out with some patterns and then we evolved that pattern over time. But same again, you can start out with not literally blanks, but nearly. Like, Yeah, these hoodies. This is not my own style and design. This was from a supplier that made a product that I really liked the look of. So then I got it embroidered and branded inside, and we made it a Murgs hoodie. This is not Murgs' own cut. Like, I don't know how big the cuffs are and stuff. Like, you can try and do that if you want, but you're just adding on even more complexity. You don't want a business that's too technical to get started because the barrier to entry is so high. Also, just a quick tip, because I've made it to Tesco and it's time for some lunch, in for the classic meal deal. Don't try go into this with anything that's too complex. Honestly, keep the barrier to entry very low. Some people will say that the more complex a thing is, in theory, the less competition you've got, which is true. But at the same time, the more complex something is, the higher chance of failure there is. Keep it simple. And clothing. If you're thinking, I'm going to start a brand, I'm going to start doing something, don't start a clothing brand. That's the only advice I've got. And it's not that I'm against clothing brands. It's just that there's too many. Every person on earth wears clothing. So it's almost the easy, I'll sell something, clothes. When in reality, it's really hard to be unique at this point. It's really hard to be different. Like, I don't know, maybe you've got a thing in your head and that could work. I'm not saying don't go for it. I'm just saying be cautious. At the same time, I wouldn't suggest you to try and start a car company. There's just a few niches that I think as well. You need a product that sells for between 40 to 80 pounds. Making that figure up just roughly. Sometimes it's easy to start a business and try and sell things for 20 quid. But then by the time you've bought it and imported it or made it and then shipped it and then had a few returns or refunds, and then never mind marketing, how do you have any marketing budget on £20? So make the product worth enough that you can tell other people about it through paid means. And anyway, I'm starving. Let's return to this. I don't know. Anyway, lunch sorted. Crisps, bottle of pop, sandwich. And not because, once again, it's not because, oh, my time is so valuable, it doesn't make sense to make your own food, just buy it. No, it's because it breaks my day up. You get cabin fever, sat in the same room looking at the same four walls, honestly. It can drive you mad, especially on days like today where the weather is terrible. I had a spell where I just like to go for a walk and just break it up, but hey, well. Right, lunchtime. But yeah, all I'm trying to do is share with others the reality of this crazy life I live. And it's not crazy like partying and money. It's just crazy and it's unorthodox. It's weird, right? This is weird. It's cool. And I want to share the hints and tips that would have been useful for me back in 2017. Because I've been trying to sell things since I was at school. Years and years and years. And even now, I'm running some ads and they are performing the best. I've got one video ad. If you search Murgs a few times, you'll probably see it. You'll notice because there's me in it and there's a lot of leopard print knee sleeves. And if you search Murgs or go on our website or go on the Facebook page, I think it might loop you in. So if you're interested in checking out the ads I'm actually running, please, Instagram or, I'm not even saying follow, I don't know, just check it out. Get some cookies, get some Murgs cookies and get looking. Same again if you're not signed up to our email list. Do it. Why? I don't know, use it as a resource. Use it to get ideas from. Because I just use other people's things to get ideas from. Everybody does. It turns out everybody's just passing everything else around. So, yeah, but only now am I running ads that are making plenty. They're doing fantastic. It's a real change. I think I've spent about 80 or 90,000 pounds on Facebook ads. So don't get me wrong, there's always someone who's spent more. But at the same time, £90,000. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And only now, after trial and error, are some ads crushing it. And yeah, it just takes ages. It just takes time. It really does. So stick it out, because you only fail when you quit. Right, it's 2:30, and we've made some progress, like eating ages ago at this point. Barcodes, time to sort the barcodes out. And this is one of the many BS problems that you get in a business where there's not a definitive answer. I was just going to say, If you need help with anything, you can always ask people, but sometimes asking the internet doesn't work. But don't forget, we live in a day and age where ChatGPT is a thing. It's not always right. I get it. It's not like some sort of superpower yet, but at the same time, you can ask it questions if you need to. There's always going to be answers somewhere. So basically, I'll show you the problem that I'm having. Here is all my barcodes. As you can see, this one, for example, is for the camo. You probably can't see this too well, but it's showing an EAN13 barcode, but it's only scanning with 2 numbers. So what I did was sent it over to the to the label printer, print off a test print whenever you're ready. And this is why you end up owning miscellaneous crap like a barcode scanner. So it scans fine, so that's good. But as you can see there, it loses a 0. So it goes from 00 to 0. I don't know if that's an issue. I am not the fulfillment center. I use a third-party fulfillment center. I send all my stock, they store it, they dispatch it, they manage returns, they do everything. So at the end of the day, it needs to fit their criteria. I've never had a problem with barcodes in my e-commerce life. Honestly, ever. They've always just worked. They're always fine. At Amazon, they've accepted them. We've had 2 previous fulfillment centers, fine. My own scanner, fine. New place, not fine. And I don't know why. So I've had to spend quite a lot of money on relabeling, which is frustrating when you have to pay for things that are done. But at the same time, quite a good demonstration of the kind of BS that you come into. At least every day you come to work is slightly different. Sort of. There are lots of days that are exactly the same. There are lots of days that are very different. So what I've done now is I've checked that, I've scanned it, it works for me. I can show that as it started off as a 13-digit EAN13. Now it's a 12-digit code. If you don't know, ask. So I've sent them an email. What do I need? But other than that, there's barcode generators online. You've got to buy the codes, obviously. You buy your access to these. But it should be easy enough to just drop a batch in and have this just create the whole thing for me. There are still quite a bit of work to go down and then name them all and, catalogue it all. You could do this and you could totally wing it. But be mindful as well that future you wants to be thankful for past you. And right now, you're past you. So do a good job. Organise them neatly. Because when you come back to using them barcodes again and you can't find them, you have to do all this again. So only do work once. If you can, just do it once and do it well. That's a motto that I've stuck with the whole business career. If you're going to do a job, just do it really good first time. And then you don't have to come back to it. There's been times that's bitten me before. So, yeah. Anyway, that's on with that. Like I say, we've got a load of other things to do. Right. So, after all this, sometimes you can have a really good day, and it's like, wow, I've not stopped. I've been firing on all cylinders. It's been all right actually, but I haven't done what I wanted, and that bothers me a little bit. I think it's because it's outside my control. Let me just have a quick look. So we've been. I'm just trying to sort those barcodes out, do some other bits, and then there's all the other runnings of a business. There's managing customer emails and this and that, and updating this page, and this link's broken, and there's all the other stuff. So it's now 4:05. My little girlies need picking up at past, so I'm kind of coming to a point where I'm winding down now. It's no fun to work till 25 past and then get made to jump and have to just fly off. So, yeah, that's it. That's a day's work. That's what it looks like. And it doesn't look like I've not changed the world today. Really. Like, arguably, if today had never have happened, nothing would have changed. And that's true. But at the same time, I'm a big believer you can have any day off, you just can't have every day off. And yeah, that's it. So my evening will be consisted of putting 2 little 2-year-olds to bed, getting ready, eating, and then probably coming up to edit this video. So I quite like how I make these, and this might seem like arrogant, but no, I just like that they're unedited. I like that we don't cut bits out. It's not full of lies. I'm not filming 15-minute talks time and time again. No, this is straight from brain to mouth to you. So yeah, let's cut out the BS. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the email list. Subscribe to that email list. It's down below. That was a strange whisper into a mic. But yeah, just go subscribe to it. And you know what? If it's crap, unsubscribe after a week. Honestly, that's it. Right, chaps and chapettes. I will get on with my life and catch up with you guys in the near future. Adios!